Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and today we're reading When You Can't Sleep by Cotton Candy Emo Cat on Wattpad. So let's get into it. Midoriya. He was literally the sweetest thing alive. He would hug you and cuddle you to try and help you sleep. But he would also consider asking you why you could not sleep in the first place. Was something bothering you? Did you want to talk about it? What was going on? Or were you just not comfortable enough to sleep? He would want to know to be able to help you correctly. He would rub your back, holding you close to him. And maybe if you need that, he would hum to you, just to help you sleep. But if it was one of those nights where you just wanted to be left alone, he understood that and tried his best to give you space. Bakugou. He would try his best, despite the fact that it may be all awkward at first. He would pat your back and run his fingers through your hair, and sometimes he would even rub your sides. He tries, sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes it does. But he wouldn't know how to talk about it with you if you want to talk. He simply wasn't good with words. And so, he would try to avoid asking you, since even if he did, it probably wouldn't work out and he won't be able to comfort you. And sometimes, when you didn't want to be touched, he'd be slightly hurt, but he would surprisingly understand and leave you be. When you're back to it again, he would talk to you and ask you what was wrong. Todoroki. He would worry, since he has been there quite a lot, and most of the time you couldn't sleep, because his thoughts weren't being so nice to him, and he was remembering rather unfavorable memories. So he would try his best to get you to relax. And obviously, he's not the best, but he tries, and it's the thought that counts. He would rub your back gently, pulling you into his lap and cuddle you close. And eventually, once he felt that you were calm enough, he would ask if you wanted to talk about it. He knew he wasn't the best with words, or advice, or really anything at all, but he just wanted you to rest and be able to get a good night's sleep. If he didn't want to talk about it, then he would talk to you about some random things, just to give you a good distraction. Kaminari. Think he doesn't try much, but if you cuddle up to him and say you can't sleep, you better believe he's trying his best to help. He would put rain sounds on his phone because he thought it would help. Lots of people say it does. And if it didn't help, then he'd play a podcast episode to help you sleep. He'd then wrap his arms around your waist and cuddle you close to him, kissing your hair and rubbing your back. And if you ask, he would run his fingers through your hair gently, while murmuring words of comfort into your ear, telling you that it will be alright, and that he's sure you'll fall asleep soon. He really just wanted you to be alright, and get 8 hours of sleep. Iida would do his best, having read about the importance of sleep and insomnia symptoms, and also what you should avoid if you want to sleep early. He read all of what he could just to make sure you and his classmates got a good night's sleep to be ready for another day at school. He was a responsible class rep after all, and he would do his best with you, and he was amazing at it, because he could pick you up, and no matter what, you would weigh like almost nothing to him, and then he would ask if you wanted to be rocked. He would just go, You want to be rocked? And you'd nod or something, and he would pick you up and rock you like a baby. And surprisingly enough, it works every single time. Kirishima would actually take some time to read about why you couldn't sleep and check if you had insomnia symptoms. You were his partner, and it was alright to worry about you that much, right? So of course he would have to check. Then he would pick you up and rock you gently once he was sure that you didn't have insomnia and just couldn't sleep that day. But he doesn't just ask to rock you. He would try to do other things before he reverts to rocking you like a baby. And if you seem upset, and if that was indeed the reason you couldn't sleep, then he would sit down with you, get you a cup of milk, and ask you what was wrong, and talk to you about it until he felt like you were comfortable enough and relaxed enough that you could finally sleep with ease. Sero would be really good at this, having had some trouble with sleep himself. So, he would try helping you with playing some sounds that he found relaxing, and if that didn't work, then he would sit down with you and ask you what was going on, if something was bothering you. He knew you had a tendency to overthink some things, and he wanted to make sure that you didn't bother yourself like that before you slept. If it wasn't that way, then he would hug you close and read you a bedtime story. He knew it sounded silly, but sometimes it actually worked. When it didn't though, he would turn on the TV, play something you loved quietly, then hug you close in his arms, grabbing your back and stroking your hair, and humming a lullaby into your ear as you closed your eyes and melted into it, burying your face into his neck and cuddling closer until you finally fell asleep. And he was glad that you did, because most of the time he couldn't fall asleep before you did, because he wanted to stay awake and make sure that you fell asleep so that you'd be able to function properly the next day without passing out in class.